Right on. How you doing this evening, Clayton?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, good. Playing a little
There we
AR-15
go.
guitar there.
I saw that. Gotta love it. Oh, goodness sakes. Well, we got through the blizzard. We got through Christmas. How was Christmas for you?
Outstanding. Christmas Eve was great. Yeah. Cowboys beat the Eagles, my most hated team in the NFL. Great food, great drink, great company. Christmas Day was great too. It was it's did a lot of snow removal, which is fine. It's it's stacked up, so when it melts, it's gonna fill up some stock dams out the farm. I'm ready for that.
Oh, yeah. Eric Newman says, good evening, my fellow redneck gun enthusiasts. Gotta love that. Hey,
Evening,
Waylon,
Eric.
good to see you here tonight. So,
Hey,
before we get going too far, though, I think we need to start
yes,
this
sir.
out as we do each and every show, and that is with the Second Amendment. I'm gonna put a little something new up here instead.
Okay.
A little Happy New Year, and of course,
Oh, it's
I had to
beautiful.
put
That
that
is a
together.
sweet AR right there.
Yeah, so here we go. Second Amendment: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right to the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And of course, we start to show off each and every week with that. You see how I added the little Guns and 701 logo there on the
You know
mag?
what? I was looking at that. I was going to say, what the heck is that a GNT 701? I was just thinking maybe we should let me get me some 20 rounders and with somebody with the laser engraver. And hey, Waylon, does your wife do that? I'll bring it over there and she can burn some GNT 701 in there. There's
That one
Trav.
there, though, I just took our logo. This is a picture, and I just put it on there.
I
So,
like that. I like
Marty
that.
Beard, 2 drink minimum or maximum for the show tonight.
Always a minimum
Marty,
for me.
it's got to be a minimum. Go for it. Oh,
Hey Marty,
Travis.
I had your picture that you sent me with the raccoon on your tailgate, and somebody wanted to know if raccoons are worth anything. I said I didn't think they were, and if you were listening, I'd ask you. So I don't think raccoon
I haven't
hides are
heard
worth
any.
anything, but
I haven't heard any prices on furs this year, but I ain't been paying attention. But a couple of years ago, they were pretty good. Hey,
Trav, the
Kevin, good
best
to see you
thing,
out there.
Trav, the best thing for those is to pour rubbing alcohol on them.
You'll definitely get your attention. Anyway, oh my goodness. So yeah, we had a good Christmas here. Of course, not everybody made it. So we're actually going to be celebrating this weekend, actually starting Thursday and Friday. So um, everyone's going to make it in. We actually did do something a little different rather than the traditional turkey and all that. We went ahead and we sous vide some steaks for
Ooh,
Christmas Eve night, and
yeah.
I got to say they turned out excellent. So, and none of this Black Angus stuff. That was pure red Gelby right here,
Yeah,
raised right
there you
here.
go. Well, we had prime rib for Christmas, and it was absolutely awesome. My mom made it, and I don't know what it was, Clay. I'm sorry. I hope it was red Gelby. I don't know.
I bet it wasn't.
Probably not.
Yeah, hides or hides, right?
Yeah, it tasted really good. In fact, when we're
And
done with the show, I'm gonna heat some up in the air fryer with the veggies and the au jus, and oof.
just to throw this in because this is kind of lead in. Of course, you know, NRA put out this tweet: "Merry Christmas from the NRA, America's longest standing civil rights organization. We hope Santa brought you all the guns and ammo." Oh my goodness, did that make the snowflakes melt on
Oh yeah,
Twitter? So they're still there.
yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is because I did get a little toys, I guess you could say. Plus, I got a Tacticam, so I was really happy to get that. I've been messing around, learning how to use that. So I'm looking forward to getting the Dogtown now, buddy. We can have some
Hey
fun with
man, I'm
that.
looking forward to doing it a couple times, not just once. It's gonna be awesome. I
And if
love it.
things go right, maybe you'll be able to join me. We talked about we got a little different idea for prairie dog shoot video, but we'll see. It's got to work out with weather
Yep.
and timing. So, prime rib. This is from Paula. I'm
That's my
guessing
mom.
certified Angus beef. We got to get you the good stuff here. We got to get you the good stuff.
Well, if it's better than that, man, I'm willing to try it because that stuff, man, that stuff is unbelievable. So,
I had them when last time I took one in to have butchered. I had them, have the prime rib. They took it out there for me. I can tell you right now
Eric,
that was good. Yeah, res cows. They give me so much crap about that.
oh man,
And Keith's family, they raise Angus. It's just one of the things you got to have some fun with. Marty says that the fur market has bottomed out mostly because Americans don't wear fur. It's our own fault. I don't doubt that, Marty. It's been unfortunately, on that road for a while. So, by the way, Marty, I caught your show, or I caught your guest while you were on with Here's the Deal Boys over there. And that was a great show. They had you and Cord on there. And of course, they were talking about the NFA bill that Cord would like to bring up. And of course, Cord also talked about the 50 cal bill. But we're going to set that aside, Jamie, because I know we have kind of what we wanted to go over. And I
Yep.
think we should get started on that.
You bet.
And,
Well, I would say one more thing before we get going. Clay put that up about the NRA. You tune in Friday at 8:40 a.m. on KFYR, 5:50 a.m. on Mitchell in the morning. Clay and I are going to be talking about that a little more in depth about triggering the leftists after the NRA tweeted that. So,
which is always fun.
Yeah. All right, Clayton. What's the first thing you're going to hit on here, buddy?
Well, and I'm going to pull this up right here. This is the Newsmax article. That's okay.
Yep. Hey, whatever.
And if you want, you can kind of. I think you got the Breitbart
okay.
article.
Yep, I got the article. So Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt is he's going down to the SHOT Show in January in 2023 in Vegas, and that's the shooting. What is it again, Clay? Outdoor trade show, shooting, hunting, outdoor trade show in Vegas. Basically, it's a huge gun show where all the gun manufacturers bring their new products out and suppressors and ammo and anything like that. But he said he wants to go down there to tell Oklahoma's story and let everybody know that they're open for business and they're friendly to gun and ammo manufacturers. In Oklahoma, we still believe in freedom, and we don't put our Constitution in the attic just because someone in D.C. tells us to. That's right. Clay and I have been talking about this with each other for years, and I still haven't heard diddly poo out of any of our governors, any of our senators, any of our congressmen to bring gun and ammo companies up here to North Dakota. This guy's actually going down there to the SHOT Show to bring these people to Oklahoma and selling it. And why we're not doing that here, Clayton's beyond me.
I can't understand it. I mean, even the governor to the south here, and I'm sure she's very much in tune to it, but has never been there. Of course, I'm not sure Burgum even knows that exists. He always likes to put on his brand new jeans and his wannabe cowboy boots and his fake cowboy hat and play cowboy, but he doesn't know a damn thing about anything out west here, or probably hunting or shooting.
I got to tell you one thing, Clay. I saw the guy in a video roping, and he actually roped a calf, and I was like, what the hell?
I want to see how many times they edited it so you could get it. Everybody gets lucky.
I got to give him credit. He looked pretty good doing it, but I mean, what do I know about roping? I'd have to ask Marty. Marty ropes, and his whole family ropes. He probably knows what it looked like if he ever seen it. But
I'm not going to call myself a roper, but I've roped, and when I don't have a horse to do it with anymore, and it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of
sure.
Fun, so let's see. Kevin's got up here. Yeah, you are correct, Marty. As a kid, I made good money trapping in the early '80s. Coon were $40 to $45. A nice red could bring $90. Now they're just not worth the time and effort, and there's probably a lot of truth to that. But and I did find it. Yeah, shooting, hunting, and outdoor trade show. That's SHOT Show. So
I saw you put that up there. Appreciate. I had them all right except the one that I think I got it right after I.
But I love seeing a governor that gets out and does that. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma, I tell you what, them guys, and they've done a little bit on their elections. They've fixed those. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why things are probably going smoother, just as Florida. But Oklahoma, I'm telling you, them guys, I think they got that. I think they got it right. They do a lot of things that are very, very pro-constitutional and a good red state, not just a Republican state in name. They are the real deal, it seems like. So,
you know, you said that about Noam. I know she spoke at the NRA convention.
She did.
A lot of them backed out, but she didn't.
She didn't. And I don't question Noam's support. I worked with her when she was in the legislature.
It'd still be nice to see her go down there, though.
It would. And, it's not easy to get in there unless you know somebody. But I imagine she could get in if she wanted to. Basically got to have an FFL and be a guest of an FFL to even get in there.
I'm going to just say if she pulled up to the door and said, hey, I'm Governor Christie, Noam would be like, come on in.
I'm sure they'd welcome her, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd probably let her speak or something. But so I'm going a little more into this when he was talking about Oklahoma. He was speaking directly to gun and ammo makers. He said, the first law I ever signed was constitutional carry in 2019. We have no restrictions on owning or using a suppressor while hunting. And another law that I think is very important in manufacturing is preemption law that we signed that forbids municipalities from enacting their own patchwork of gun control laws. Like every city can't make a different law, and then you drive through and you get in trouble. Which I gotta say, I mean, North Dakota's. I think we pretty much got all that. I don't know that we have preemption, but we could.
I don't know about
know
preemption. I actually need to look that up because that's one I don't know. Now, South Dakota, we helped pass that down in South Dakota when I was still with the NRA, where no municipality can make anything stronger or more stringent than what the South Dakota Constitution is. So they can't come up with their own. And I had to actually enforce that in Sioux Falls once. Basically, they had a park down there. They wouldn't let people go in there if they were carrying. And you can't have that. And we pushed the issue, and they did lift that. Now that I'm not around, who knows? I mean, if nobody's paying attention, nobody complains. Who knows what's happening down there? But we did make sure that we enforce that. And
I know Kevin's out in Pennsylvania. They have preemption out there, and the Democrats hate it. So
I'm sure.
I don't know how that works in Philly because they kind of do their own thing there. Hey, Kevin, I know you're in Pennsylvania. I hope you're not an Eagles fan because I can't stand them bastards.
We're gonna get Kevin to move out here eventually. Come to a free state.
Yeah. So Stitt, he also said they believe in the Constitution in Oklahoma. There's nothing to worry about there. When he was talking to these gun companies, we're home to 5 military bases, and defense and supporting our military and law enforcement is very important to Oklahomans. Like I said, they kind of, it almost sounds like I'm saying something from North Dakota here, but I don't know. Oklahoma's probably, I think their state senate maybe a little more red than ours. I mean, they're probably more conservative. I don't know for a fact, but
when you go look at the things that they have done and passed in Oklahoma's legislature, I mean, they're very much a Republican-dominated, entity. But they actually vote like conservatives, unlike North Dakota's, which has got a lot of rhinos within it, and they can get mad all they want with me saying that. But the truth is the truth. If you vote like a Democrat, you're a Democrat, and we have a lot of them right now in North Dakota's legislature.
So Doug Thompson's easy once you learn how and have a good horse. I mean, I'll tell you what, Doug, I've tried. I suck at roping. I mean, there's just some things I'm good at and some things I suck at golf. I'm pretty good at softball and I'm real good at shooting, but roping, Keith.
Well, DJ knows a little about roping. He don't let him kid you. He can ride a horse with the best of them.
Keith says she's easy on the eyes. I know he's talking about Governor. Yeah, she's real easy on the eyes, Keith. That's probably the most beautiful politician I've ever seen. But yeah, all right, Kevin. I love that. Just because it's Philadelphia, that people call it the city of brotherly love. I call it the city of brotherly scum because they're so. It all started there pretty much, and now they're like anti-American.
I mean, where our Declaration was signed. I mean, where everything took place. And that created this freedom, and boom, now it's just a mecca of liberals that are trying to destroy it all. Hey, Carrie, glad to see you on.
Yep, hi, Carrie. Put Dan's comment out there. There you go, answer. Thank you, Dan.
Yep. All right. Thank you. I couldn't remember, Dan. Thank you for letting us know that they have a preemption clause in the Century Code, though I'm not sure what it's called, and hard to tell, Dan. Some of these guys like to name them all kinds of pretty little names, but yeah. Good.
You get that, Dan. You get them can koozies yet, and them decals. Let me know. And see how the mail's working.
And ours, I did not get in there in time today. It was closed yesterday, so tomorrow it will be dropped in the mail, packaged up and ready to go from my end, Dan. So I was going to put that out there if you were on there tonight. So
all right, Clay.
I threw a few extras in there too.
Yeah, there you go. You go.
The next thing.
Should we do an obscene profits timeout, and then we're going to hit on the Adams Arms backpack AR-15 for resource officers?
Sounds good. Let's do
that.
We'll break this up. We'll do one now, and then we'll do the double one at the bottom, and then another one. So,
okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Guns in the 701 is sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located on 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Doug and the boys are patriots who support your Second Amendment rights with friendly service, decades of experience, competitive pricing, and expert advice for all your auto needs. It's getting colder out, so bring your vehicle in for a checkup and let Doug make sure you won't get stuck out in the cold this season. Stop in and let him know that you heard it on Guns and the 701 and you appreciate his support for your freedom and, most importantly, our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call, 701-258-6308.
Oh. All right. I guess we're
Yeah,
back. I don't know
okay.
what
I
happened
had my
there.
own mic muted
I think
there.
it cut off the end, didn't it? Oh.
Yeah. All right, Dan said he got it.
Yeah,
Good. I'm
sorry
glad you
about
did.
that, Doug. Yeah, Lauer Auto Repair. It's awesome. Yep. No, I see that Dan got that, so that's good. But I was going to just give a little plug, guys. Again, go down there and see Doug and the boys down there at Lauer Auto, and they'll get you set up with anything you need. And we appreciate their support. And it's awesome knowing that we have a Second Amendment guy that we can take our vehicles to.
Hardcore. I actually had to go help the blind guy do something today for about 10 minutes. We got a new restaurant here in Bismarck, and Wyatt was in there installing some blinds, and I had to go up there because these things were wide as hell. They were about 10 feet wide, and there you go. So I got up on one ladder, and he got up on the other, and told me what to do. He snapped that sucker right in there, and
perfect.
Good
deal.
Great. Yeah. So it's I'm glad to help out a lifelong friend and sponsor of the show. It's awesome. So
absolutely. So
okay, Clayton, let's hit on this. Clay's glitching. Okay, are you back now, Clay? Nope. All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna hit it then until Clayton comes back.
Am I back now?
You're back here, Clayton. All right. Why don't you lead us into this Adams Arms deal? You want me to take it? Okay.
I'm showing. So, I'm showing yellow on my bars.
Okay. Yeah, I see that on there now. They're green on you now, but
right.
So Adams Arms, they're an AR-15 manufacturing company. Mostly, kind of in my mind, known for piston ARs from way back. I'm kind of an AR guy, but they make a backpack here. I'll kind of lead into the story with it here. Army school resource officers without visibly intimidating students and teachers has been a daunting task facing school boards and law enforcement agencies they rely upon for protection. Florida arms manufacturer Adams Arms is partnering with law enforcement agencies nationwide to equip officers with a folding AR-15 stock whose short barrels fit into a wearable multi-tactical backpack and are deployable in seconds. So it's not only that they have a folding stock, but there's also other things in these backpacks. Let me go back. Let me back up a second here, because intimidating. I mean, unfortunately, it seems candy ass to me, but visibly intimidating students and teachers. Yes, guns do. I mean, even in North Dakota, my wife's an educator, so I know a lot of them, and there is, unfortunately, students and teachers, especially, and people who are, and school administrators who were intimidated by firearms. Hard to believe. Yes. So, this thing is the thing they're making here is pretty awesome. And Adams Arms you can do a folding stock on those easy because it's a piston driven AR. So you don't have to have a recoil buffer and a spring in the buffer tube on that. You can fold it right over. So that's something that's easy for them to do and easy to, like they said, cover up in this backpack, which we'll get into here in a little bit. You got anything to add on this, Clay, before I dig into it a little more?
No, I mean, I love the idea of it, and you're right. I mean, people just they've been programmed to think guns are evil, honestly. Even people who support it, you can see their looks on their eyes. So I can see what's going to happen here in the schools. I think if they have something like this, it's probably a good thing until they get used to the idea. I can tell you right now, if you had guys standing around with an AR on, slinged over in a single point sling at ready, it's probably going to be kind of an intimidating thing, although it shouldn't. They should use it as a learning issue, but they won't. So, yeah, I do like this idea. But, I guess if you look at it, it could give the surprise to anybody trying to go into a soft target or a hard target like that, because they know that they won't know. It's almost like the air marshals. They don't know who's on and who they are or when they're on. So I kind of like the idea.
Yeah. So Adams Arms president Jason East kind of brings up something. Well, let me go into this SROs, how many people there are here. According to the National Association of School Resource Officers, there's currently between 14,000 and 20,000 SROs in service nationwide. 91% are armed. So Yeah. Well, I mean, 91%. What are the other? What are the other 9% of them do? Maybe they got that knife throwing
right.
thing like I had on that short video today on.
They probably do like some of the Uvalde cops, and they left because they're scared.
Yeah, just sit out there. But they had guns, so that's
Yeah.
so. Yeah, Adams Arms president Jason East points to a logistical problem with effective response. Officers forced to store their firearms in a locked safe in a school, office, or secured vehicle waste precious time retrieving, which we've talked about more than once before, Clay. Even when we were filling in on 1270 there, we talked about that on a number of occasions. So their deal was, okay, so he goes on, locking rifles and gun safes in schools, SROs is not a new idea, nor is having a firearm secured in the vehicle, which again, if it's in your vehicle and something
What good is it?
happens, yeah, what
Really?
good is it? What good is it? And of course, then you're going to have the critics who always bring up that they're concerned that a push to arm teachers in the classroom or have armed presence on campus would turn schools into militarized zones.
Yes.
So,
It's funny though, them same people will walk into an event, and pick your event. Even Bismarck Civic
Mhm.
Center is getting bad, but look at a place like New York City, who has New Year's coming up here. What's it surrounded by? Armed police officers or armed people.
What?
I mean, I would say that looks pretty much like a military zone in a way. I've seen some of the footage, when you get off of what the TVs are showing
Mhm.
from the actual celebration. It's like, holy cow! So they don't want it in the school, but they go to something like that and not think nothing of it. Go through
Yeah.
a search, the metal detector, and give up every right they got.
Yep. Yep. So inside of this backpack, not only is there's a short barreled AR-15 with a folding stock, which that would be short. I mean,
It would
that,
be,
that
and
that's really short actually. And I'm cool with that. I mean, I wish
I
I
am
could
too.
just, if you and me got one, Clay, I don't know how
Oh, that'd be
short their barrels are. I guess it doesn't specify. I'm guessing a 16 incher, so we probably could, but if it's shorter than that, we'd have to have a special permit for it.
$200 tax stamp, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and all the NFA stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Not only so the backpacks also have armor plating in them, and they contain pry bars and bolt cutters. So, what you know what that is for? Because Cho at Virginia Tech, he chained the door shut, and nobody could snip them open. So, not only do you get your AR in there, you get your bolt cutters and you get your pry bar. Because if you got your bolt cutters and they got the door jammed, so you put your pry bar in there, you pop the door open.
Yep.
So they kind of got this thing figured out here.
Travis.
But
AR is the devil. Guys, for those of you that don't know Travis, he's having fun. Just so everybody knows.
he's
Anyway.
an AK-47 guy too. I don't know what kind
Yep.
of AR he had. He said it was a Jam-O-Matic, but I don't know, Trav. Mine all run like sewing machines unless the primer gets in the trigger group, but that can happen to anything. So
I do. I do love this idea of these backpacks. In fact, I want one. I really
yeah,
do.
I do too. I do too. I mean, they do make a thing. I can't remember what company. Well, it was actually Daniel Defense does, and a few others like the deployable one, the
Yep.
takedown AR. But I mean, that's not really what these guys were talking about.
In
But
fact,
it's
Dan, if you're still listening, I'd love to hear you chime in on this and see, guys. If you don't know Dan, Dan Brown, of course, he's a patriot and was one of our NRA reps or volunteers for years over there in Dickinson. But he was also a police officer and a really good one. So I would love to hear Dan's take, because I'm guessing he shares our sentiment on this, and I think it'd be a great idea, honestly.
Yeah, Dan's a great guy. I remember talking. Manny, Dan was actually
Yep.
down at first year I was in with Doug
Oh,
at the
at the
at the
state
Pra-
fund.
no at the Prairie Dog thing down in
Oh,
Shields. He was down
okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now me and Doug are trying to get in it again. We haven't been in it in a while, but so yeah, these guys got this, and I know Bismarck's. I don't know if all SROs here have them. They got AR-15. I think they're just regular ones locked in a safe here. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I know when Mayor Bakken got in there, he told me that did happen. Okay, Trav, he's an M1A guy, a Mini 14, and an AK-47 guy.
Okay. So, yeah,
I am too, but an AR-15 guy first and foremost.
I just don't get it when you want a school resource officer who's there to respond to something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? They take his tools and they lock him away. So he's either got to fight his way. I mean, think about that. Depending on where he is in the school, he could
Mm-hmm.
be in some of these schools a long ways away, honestly, especially around
Oh
the other
yeah,
end. So they can
the
get to
other
his
end,
locked cabinet.
and then you get people, kids and staff running out in the hallways. It's not going to be a straight run. They're running
No,
away, and you're running to it.
to it.
Try running
Yep.
up the stream in a river and see how that works for you. No, Trav, there's not a problem with that.
Well, and they even point out in that article, and that's what the school resource officers, their national affiliation, they're
Mhm.
they point out that a large school campus would lengthen the amount of time it would take an officer to access that firearm from a safe and to reach the incident area. Absolutely, just like we
Mhm.
just said. I don't know. It just seems stupid. That's why I like this idea a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I do too. And like you said, nobody can see it. I mean, obviously you can conceal a pistol, but I'd rather be able to.
Like that one, huh?
I'm laughing at a comment there. What was that one? Put it back up there
I
again.
like all guns. I'm not a gun racist. Me neither, Kevin.
I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, but yeah, I'm like you said, I'd like to have one of these backpack things too. That'd be sweet. So
That'd be
I don't know.
fun.
Yeah, well, maybe I have to look in to see what it costs for a civvy to get one of those.
All right, Dan chimed in here. He says it'd be a very practical item for the SROs. I'm not sure what the SROs in Dickinson do with their long guns, and I'm not either. But I do. I really like. We're gonna do a little more looking on this. We got a
Yeah,
legislative session coming up. It's getting a little late now to do anything, but I'd love to talk to some of them guys when I'm up there testifying on some of them other bills and
yeah,
see what their thoughts are.
yep, yeah,
Rather than
for
building
sure.
brand new gyms and new schools, maybe they ought to do something like this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, well, it's usually yeah. Isn't the new schools and gyms usually a city vote thing?
Well, depends on what the price tag is.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure. All
but
right,
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight.
no, no. We got to do another obscene here, or what do
Yep,
we?
we're just going to say let's go ahead and
Okay.
do an ad here for our sponsors and thank them guys. Here we go with our ad for Laura Auto Repair and for the blind guy in North Dakota.
Guns in the 701s is sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located on 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Doug and the boys are patriots who support your Second Amendment rights with friendly service, decades of experience, competitive pricing, and expert advice for all your auto needs. It's getting colder out, so bring your vehicle in for a checkup and let Doug make sure you won't get stuck out in the cold this season. Stop in and let him know that you heard it on Guns and the 701 and you appreciate his support for your freedom and, most importantly, our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call, 701-258-6308.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by The Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, The Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. All right. Again, that's our sponsors, guys. They're making sure that we stay on the air and have the equipment we need, and they're just they're a great help to what we're doing here. So if you need anything from either of them, make sure you go ahead and talk to them, tell them you heard it here, and they'll take care of you.
Right on. Right on. That's awesome.
So
All
I
right,
guess we're going to move into something that, well, it's basically Speer and CCI, which means it's federal. I don't know if anybody realizes this. Federal owns them, and
Yep.
they came up with lead-free primers. So I read that article you sent me, but it was interesting when I did a search, Jamie. This actually was done in 2011 as well.
Okay.
And I found out that the Department of Justice, or no, was it Department of Justice or I don't remember. There's so many alphabet agencies up there. They had concerns about this, especially for agents when they went to check, because of course it gets rid of the lead, that's one of the things they test when they're doing forensic
Oh,
investigations.
okay.
So, well, this is back in 2011. They were actually a little bit concerned about that, and wasn't sure what they
Ghost
thought of
ammo.
it. Yeah, ghost
Ghost
ammo,
primers.
ghost guns. How about that? Throw them in with them plastic Glocks, right? Anyway,
Yeah, for sure.
anyone that knows has been following us as long as me and Jamie, all that'll make sense to you.
Yeah. Stick
But
around.
all I can tell you is that they also did a study back then. Now remember, this is 11 years ago, or well, more than 11 years ago. Uh, they found that when they did the testing, they did not fire as well. There was a lot of misfires. There was a lot of
Okay.
short fires, and I've had that happen with regular primers. You hit them and it goes, but it ignites only a little bit of the powder and don't do nothing. It actually causes an issue. So I
Okay.
mean, everything's not perfect,
I knew
but I
there
think
was
they've
something to
improved.
deal with it.
I think they've improved them now here, and I guess I'm gonna let you take lead on this and with these
Yeah,
lead-free
well, of course,
primers.
you're talking about reliability. According to these guys, this lead-free priming technology is the cleanest, most consistent ignition possible.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know what they're getting at. They're trying to get away from lead contamination. I mean, let's face it. If you do a lot of shooting, and I mean a lot, especially probably in an enclosed area or not a very well ventilated indoor range,
Mhm.
you're going to expose yourself to some lead. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
So I
Whether
can't remember if it was Mitchell Ack or one of these guys who just goes through an insane amount of rounds, and he had his blood tested for it,
hmm
like lead, and it was higher, but it was like a minuscule amount. It was higher than the average bear, but like nothing that they thought would be dangerous. Yeah, that's right,
right,
Trev. We'd love our sponsor. But so yeah, and as far as this is the thing that kind of makes me shy away from these. There were no failures to fire in more than 400 rounds expended. Really, 400 rounds?
400 rounds.
You want to impress me? Go through like 14,000 and tell me that, or at least
Yeah,
4,000,
400 rounds. We can do that on a
400.
dog town in a day.
Yeah, that doesn't
Pretty
instill
easy.
much confidence. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I guess if you're a reloader and you're really worried about it, do it if it makes you feel better. I'm not going to change. I'm not,
Gene made a comment. Bring back the electronics primers. I don't know if anyone remembers those,
that
but
must be before my reloading time.
they were short lived, and I believe was that something Remington came up with. Gene, I'd have to go back and recall that. I do remember them, but I they were short lived, so I don't remember a whole lot about them. It seems like that was Remington's deal.
So there's a deal in here, Clay. They did say it runs a lot cleaner. It's easier to clean your guns, which okay, I'm not gonna dispute that. But they use it in Syntec ammo. I tried Syntec in my 9mm pistol,
I was right.
and
Remington flop.
and this is my most accurate pistol I ever owned. It's a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 5-inch barrel.
Uh-huh.
Back with a different I mean, I got to be honest. That stuff shot like shit. It shot at 20 yards. This thing, it'd be lucky if it shot a paper plate. And I'm talking,
Oh.
I was leaning over. I got a little plastic rest. I lean over when I shoot pistol for groups out at the farm, and
hmm
it was terrible. I was like, "Night, Travis. Thanks for joining us, buddy." Yeah. So if that's what it's going to do in rifle rounds and you reload it, I'm not
Mm.
real confident. But the Syntax, the only thing I tried. So I don't know. I guess if I find a cheap thing of these primers, maybe I'll get 100 and try them out just for the hell of it. But like I said, I'm not worried about lead poisoning.
I'm not either. I'll try them. You know what'll happen with those once they put them on. Now, I did notice in the article it's mostly for handguns. They haven't said much about
Okay.
rifles yet.
Okay.
What they're going to market
Okay.
them for.
And I'm definitely more of a rifle shooter. I do
Yep.
shoot handguns. Me and Dougie have did handgun shooting videos, and Clay's got.
And I
some things.
reload both. So,
Oh,
but I
you
would
do for
try them.
pistol? Yeah,
I do.
don't.
Yep. And I can tell you right now that if you have what happened here recently, where there's all them shortages, if they work, I'd get them because they'll probably be available. So,
Yeah, because everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, these things are like $3 more a box."
Yeah.
No thanks. It's like
Um,
copper ammo. I mean, I do shoot copper bullets out of my Creed. I haven't killed anything with it yet before I've used it, but
well, I think I
you know,
shot my 300 Legend and my 50 cal more in the last year and a half because ammo was available. Everywhere you went, you could grab that stuff. It was on the shelf. And evidently, not many people have them, but those were available. So it's the same way.
So what kind of primers do you think are in these?
In the American
The tracers.
Oh, the tracers. I imagine it's a
The
standard
reason
primer.
I'm showing that is because I'm going back to the farm this weekend with a buddy of mine, and we're gonna try and do a short with some tracers in it. I'll leave it at that. How much lead can there be in a freaking primer? I know that's what I always think too, Kevin.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're gonna do a little something with some tracers. Something I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but we're gonna try it and see how it works. If it's a flop, there won't be any shorts on YouTube or the reels on Facebook. Which we do a lot of reels on Facebook. It's actually been kicking rear end for me and Clay doing that over the last week. So if you guys are on Facebook, we've been doing reels. Check them out.
Yeah, and then having a lot of success over there, so we're reaching a lot of people. And Jamie is responsible for that, guys. As you all know, my main account was banned for life, so I don't go on there very much. Sturm, he visits once in a while. And Eric, I like this one. Eric, he goes, the only reason I'd have lead poisoning is if the government shot me. Probably the same here. Same here, Eric.
Well, they probably use FMJs. You wouldn't even get lead poisoning. You just
he's right through there. Of course, I'll take some with me. I might go out, but I'm going to go out in the glory.
I mean, that's a wonderful way to do it, right?
It's going to be great. It's going to be the best, and I'm going to go out like a champ.
Big league. So Clay was talking a little bit. We were talking. Clay and me both were talking a little bit earlier about the Senate and the House and that in the state legislature. So in Ohio, there's Senate Bill 185. The House passed it, or the Senate passed it, and the House passed it by a vote of 57-19. Which during an emergency, it protects your Second Amendment rights for possession, transporting, carrying, commerce, training range access, as well as hunting and fishing to all be anything life-sustaining. Yep, right there. It passed Ohio's House and Senate. Now it's going to Governor DeWine's desk for signature, which is an awesome bill. Remember, we kind of had that problem with the city there in Fargo, and they were trying to do that. Remember that, Clayton?
Yes, we did. And of course, that doesn't surprise me that Fargo would give us that pushback. Fargo is always the problem. Fargo is our California.
Oh yeah,
in the state of North Dakota, just like South Dakota has Sioux Falls.
Shockingly, I think Fargo actually changed that. I think they got a lot of pushback from people, and
they did. There was a lot of people that, and I'm glad that it's when you do stand up and you voice your concerns, and you're in numbers, it scares them people, and it should. And I'm glad that it actually still does. And then they overturned it and changed it, so that was good to see.
Well, not shockingly, the NRA-ILA would thank the bill sponsors, Tim Schaefer, Republican, and Representative Scott Wiggum, Republican. So my guess is if there was a Democrat on there, it was like one.
I didn't see any. I actually went and followed. When you sent me this, I hopped on there and went and looked to see who the sponsors were, and I didn't see one Democrat on there. It's funny, though, on the Ohio's legislative site, like North Dakota has one, they still didn't even have it updated to show that it passed and was going to the governor. It's still showing that the Senate had defeated it in committee with a unanimous vote, and did not show that the House, it went kicked back to the House, and then it went back for amendments, and then the Senate approved it unanimously after that. So, I mean, when you look at it, it's almost like they don't want people to know. I don't know. But
probably.
And I don't know. I'll be honest. I do not know what this governor is like. I don't know what way he leans. I haven't really paid attention to Ohio.
I'm not going to lie to you. He reminds me a lot of Burgum. He does a lot of pro-gun stuff and a lot of other stuff he'll piss conservatives off with. But
I'm guessing after looking at the votes on this, though, I mean, the Senate went through with this on a 29-0 vote. And overall, it passed, 57-19. So I can't imagine it did vetoed, because if it did, it's probably going to get overturned. And governors hate being overturned.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, DeWine's been pretty pro-gun. I think he kind of wishy-washed on one or two things, but he ended up doing it anyways. But yeah, he I mean,
And I love the fact that in the bill, it's not just about firearms possession. They expanded it. Did you read that part where
yeah, I did.
transportation, carrying, commerce,
Yep.
and training? I mean, when you look at
Yep.
everything
Even for
there,
fishing, because they can't even stop you from going to fish if you want to go get some
and,
fish and eat.
and life sustaining essential activities, that's pretty broad. So that if you wanted to, and you got a rogue governor like Burgum, I don't care. I don't like Burgum. Dump Doug ND, guys. Anyway, I can tell you right now, you could take this to court, and right there in that bill, it reaffirms what everybody already has as a right, and you probably win it now, especially in Ohio.
Yep. Well, if you remember when Trump was president, they didn't want when the COVID lockdown. Trump made an executive order that you can go to gun shops and buy guns and ammo. You think
Yeah,
Biden would do that or any other Democrat
mm,
president? The hell no, they wouldn't. I'll
they do the
promise you that.
opposite.
Exactly.
They do the
Exactly.
opposite.
So anybody who voted against, Trump last time because you didn't like his tweets and whatnot, good job. Thanks a lot. We got it so good now, don't we? At least you're not getting your feelings hurt, you turds. I mean,
Well,
Jesus.
speaking of that, we weren't going to talk about that night, but that article you sent me about now the mentally disturbed people who think they're men that think they're women, women think they're men, and the gays and all that, they're
Yeah,
mad
in Oregon. Yeah.
out in Oregon because guess what? The new gun control stuff out there, they're worried that it might affect their ability to purchase a firearm.
Oh,
Well, that's what you
which it
get.
would. It would. Which it would.
It would, and maybe we'll hit on that next week.
Yeah. Let's
But
do
I
that because
read
that's a
that
good
article and I
story.
was like, that is interesting. And I thought it was kind of funny, you know? You
Yeah.
choose it, you got to live with it. And the liberals and the Democrats choose it, and then they don't like everything when they're left out.
Hmm.
Um,
So
you're
Eric,
right, Eric.
yeah, they want to ban lead fishing weights, which is total BS. I mean, that's been in for a while, Eric, and I've actually talked to
Yeah,
like people who hunt and own guns, and like, oh, that's fine. I could just use bismuth or whatever. I don't know, whatever thing they use, and I'm like, really? Why? Do you
yeah.
think the fish are getting poisoned by lead? I go, you don't see this going somewhere? Like super smart people, far smarter than I am. What? No, they're just trying to get lead poisoning, and I'm like, you don't get lead poisoning from touching and eating lead.
I know. Well, it's like when they came out with their report that we got to get non-toxic, rifle rounds when you're
Mhm,
shooting deer because
mhm.
some moron did a bogus study saying that the lead was in the meat. I mean, there were even some of these places that would accept wild game, to
They
feed
quit
the
doing
hungry,
it.
and they quit doing it because there was lead in it, even though it was proven that it wasn't correct. And the guy who did it,
Man.
well, he was actually out of UND, if I remember right, and he was a leftist freaking vegan freak.
Well, he was a guy who he hunted with hawks,
Yeah,
and he was
it
afraid his hawks were going to find a dead carcass and eat it because he bought into this crap of California when they said that, which is all
right,
complete bullshit.
pretty
But
much. Yeah, that's that. It is, and it is. It's stupid, guys.
they
I mean,
banned
yes,
they banned lead ammunition in California for hunting. Your condors aren't coming back. So guess what? It
no.
wasn't eating lead out of a gut pile of a pig you shot and just left lay there.
And you want to hear something even better? They
Yes.
have found out since they did this with waterfowl. Oh, you got to use non-toxic
Mhm.
shot for
Yeah. Oh yeah.
waterfowl. They're
Yep.
finding out that guess what? Didn't make no difference. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen several studies now, and I know a guy I can actually ask. It's Eric's brother that probably have more information on this. And I can tell you right now, the things I've read, it's made no difference. The rates pretty much stayed the same. The lead was not killing the ducks and the geese.
I never
Um,
believed that anyways.
I didn't either. Just like CWD and everything else. I don't know why
No, that's
government
real.
agencies, yeah, alphabet agencies, it's gotten to the point that they have lied so much. I wouldn't believe anything they said, even if it was true, unless I went and found out for myself.
I mean,
I would always assume they're lying to me.
I do now. I never used to be that way, and man, I hate to be that way, but you have to. I mean, I
I don't trust them. And I've got no reason to trust them.
I'll trust somebody until they give me a reason not to do it.
And the government's gave me plenty of reasons not to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, look at there. And Eric, you're absolutely right. I was just getting to that. Steel shot has wounded more birds. And by the way, if I remember right, Eric,
Mhm.
you probably know better than I do because you hunt the taxpayer owned lands. But I think if you're hunting even upland birds now, again, this don't just end with one. It's always a bigger picture when it comes to government. If I remember right, for game birds, upland birds on government land that's managed by them, owned by the taxpayers, by the way. I won't call it government land because it's not theirs. I think you have to use non-toxic lead now, but I don't remember.
Remember they opened the other stuff up. Well, almost all of it you do, but remember we talked about that. Was it on Scott's show on Saturday that I said they made a deal?
Oh, yeah, and I didn't catch your whole show Saturday.
Yeah. Well, they made a deal to get rid of this other lawsuit, but they did another. So the deal they made with okay, we'll leave these public lands open, but we have another petition where all these public lands that you open for hunting now need to use all copper, no more lead ammo.
Oh, okay, I did catch that part. That's right. Yeah, and that's a horrible choice too.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I got a text from Wyatt, the blind guy. His dad's like the biggest reloader. Taught me everything I know about reloading. He's awesome at it, Richard. He said if Richard hasn't got lead poisoning, nobody will. Because that guy reloads 22 and everything.
Okay.
RF's the hell. He lived down, he's South Dakota. He's a hell of a reloader, hell of a shooter. They always shoot down at that Mobridge range, him and his wife, and they're some good people.
Eric's got on here only state land if lead free. Gene's got non-toxic on all public land in South Dakota with shotgun. And then of course you got like government pasture, you can still use lead, Eric said. And I don't know. I don't hunt public land. I quit hunting public land a long time ago. Just not interested in it. I don't have to. I got private land to hunt of our own. I can hunt all the neighbors. Why in the hell would I go hunt public land?
Well, I told Clay too. We were talking. I can't remember if it was last week, Christmas.
It ain't so public either.
Right. Yeah, but the military base, I told him, I can't remember if it was in Massachusetts or Connecticut or something. They switched it, made them use all copper. Switched all copper. They weren't having problems with lead, but somebody told them lead was dangerous, and so they started using all copper. Well, it rained on their gun range, and all the copper they were shooting into the bank stop ran in and started poisoning the freaking stream there with their all copper ammo. So they had to put this big bank up, with all copper.
Yep. Exactly.
You can't make it up.
No, right? And for everything they do, it usually has a negative effect. They're trying to do something that doesn't work because they feel good about it. It's never based on the science. Remember, they want to do the science.
They say science, but it's not really.
It's not science. That's only it's only when they want to use that. They want to feel good about doing something.
Fauci science.
Yeah, Fauci science, fake news.
So we got to do it. Let's do another. Are we gonna do it? We gonna do a profit time out here?
Let's do another one here.
And then when we come back, Clay and I are going to talk about these two constables who were shot dead down in Australia. The gun fantasy land of Australia.
Gun Utopia.
The gun control Utopia. All right, Clay, let's.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by The Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, The Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. I'm going to have to get a hold of him, too. I got his number.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe he knows this. Maybe if he's listening tonight. But I'd like to order someone. We're going to do some work in the kitchen. But I don't need him to install them unless he prefers to install it. But I'm guessing that if you give him the measurements, he'll probably sell them to you and you can install them yourself, can't you?
I'll tell you what, you coincide that with him coming down to installing them and shooting some prairie dogs. And
there we go.
Hell, I'll come down as his free assistant for the 2 days.
Maybe we'll have to make that a deal. I know Eric was looking, so maybe we get him to come down, do mine and do Eric's.
Yeah. Oh, they've been down. Yeah, they've been down your area, Mobridge and all that, and over to Lemon.
I got a place for you guys to stay too.
Yeah, I've been there. It's great. Clay does have an awesome place. Dougie and I slept great in there. I got a shower and all the amenities, and
And maybe we'll even have some more mounts in there. I'm working on that.
I don't know.
I
You
know.
might lose that NRA clock when I leave this town.
Imagine that. It's got an NRA clock
Yeah.
and some other NRA stuff that I accumulated over the years in my
Nice
own
little
stuff.
place
So.
for sure. I in the
So,
bar there's got good food and good drink. It was fun there. I enjoyed that. So
and
Y-
I want to do one quick thing here
yep,
before we go on
you
those,
bet.
and I got to show you guys something quick before this goes out of everybody's minds, and it's what happened with the omnibus bill. Now, Kevin Kramer voted. He didn't vote. He was gone,
Hmm.
and I don't know what Hovind did if he voted no. I didn't
He
go
voted
check,
no.
but unfortunately, you
I
guys in
think
South
Daryl said he
Dakota,
voted no.
Rhino Mike Rounds and John Sellout Thune voted for this thing.
Unbelievable.
Here's this is just the anti-Second Amendment provisions. 14.1% ATF budget increase. And that's for his pistol ban, guys. If you don't know what that's about, go check out Here's the Deal last week and watch that episode
Hmm.
with Andrew Cordnoy on there. He talks all about it and then we can get David Fetting on here too, because he's also got an FFL. He knows
Yep.
about it. This is insane what they're trying to do, but this goes right on down. And I know Jamie and I had disagreements on the bump stock, but guess what? Everything I said is coming to fruition. They're using that avenue now to go after other stupid things. Anyway, 50% increase for the ATF's budget to maintain the illegal near billion record gun registry. And we don't have enough time tonight to go into that. 700 plus million in funding to bribe states for red flag laws. So we need to be vigilant. Both North and South Dakota watch these legislatures so they
Oh yeah.
don't take this money.
Oh, it's a lot of money though.
Yeah, directing the VA medical centers to utilize confiscation orders, and that's been tried before. It's been shut down, but now it's in law. Right here it is, and they're funding it. Department of Education to push a safe storage of parents' firearms. Guys, what that is about is the schools and the people there questioning the kids about their parents' firearms. And of course,
Hmm.
both my boys, you can imagine what they're going to tell their teachers and administrators.
Hmm.
Leighton already said, I'll tell him to go pound sand. I love that kid. Funding for the VA to maintain gun storage maps to keep tabs on the veterans where they keep their guns. Are you kidding me? The men and women who serve this country and protect our freedoms, and that's how they're going to treat them. New annual compensation for families of deceased ATF agents could be an indication of upcoming gun confiscation. I can see it going that way.
Hmm.
Gun control earmarks for orchard healing circles. Look that up, guys. We're not going to go into that tonight. Dickey violations galore while CDC suppresses self-defense statistics. And again, if you want this, I can email me at clay@gunsin701.com.
Well, I'll tell
and
you
I will
real
email
quick. The
it to you.
Dickey Amendment is not to use taxpayer money to support gun control or gun
Correct.
control. You know,
And they're going to do it
fun
anyway.
statistics. Yeah.
Programs discouraging women from exercising their Second Amendment rights, and there's several of them listed in there.
Mhm.
It's just what this is it's funding guys to go through bureaucratic alphabet agencies that are
Mhm.
unregulated, and they're going around the law and the legislatures. And like I said, if they can't if they can't legislate it, what do? They just go ahead and regulate it. They can't win in those.
Change the rules.
Yep. When the Democrats lose, they change the rules.
Change the rules. Yep.
Anti-gun community violence intervention. Oh, I wonder what that's going to be. And then the violent anti-government ideology and
MVEs.
domestic yep, there you go, radicalization research. That's why I wanted a quick hit on that. This is not funny, guys, and this is serious. And there's big money in that bill, that $1.7 trillion bill that passed with 18 Republicans, including John Thune from South Dakota, and Rhino Mike Rounds as well from South Dakota. And Mike Rounds was not a Second Amendment guy anyway. He's the guy that held up constitutional carry for 2 terms. But I'll leave it at that. We can go into that a little more in a later show. But
Yep. All right. Well, let's hit on this Australian shooting deal here. So,
okay,
so 2 constables, which whatever that's what they call their police
yep,
officers down in Australia, were shot dead Monday night. Well, this is a week old. So Monday night while investigating a missing persons report, and I said in the preview to the show it was a warrant. That's not what it was. I was wrong. I apologize. In stringently gun controlled Australia, and a third person was shot and killed when he heard the shots and went to investigate. So we got 2 constables, 26-year-old Matt Arnold and 29-year-old Rachel McCrow, were shot and killed as they approached the residence. And 48-year-old Alan Shearer was then shot and killed when he came from his neighboring. So the neighbor heard some shots. Hey, I'm gonna go check this out and see what's going on. I don't have a gun. No, that was a great move, dude. They had to call in other members of law enforcement to the scene, and then they shot 3 suspects dead who did the shooting of these officers. So
yeah, I've seen it. And did you read any background on any of that?
I couldn't find it actually, Clay.
So I found a little bit.
Okay.
So they're making this guy, evidently he was under another name, and he was actually posting on social media, and they called him a paranoid guy. He said the port, can't remember that 1996 where 35 people were
Port
killed.
Arthur, I think.
Port Arthur in Australia. Anyway, he was saying that was all a sham and it was put on by the government so that they could push the gun control stuff, which, guys, Australia went stupid on that. We won't go down that path tonight. But they made this guy to be like this radical, paranoid, hated the government type guy. And I haven't been able to find out details. They claim that there was a person that for 12 months supposedly was missing, but they still had communication with family. And then all of a sudden they quit getting communications. And that's when they sent the other people, these constables in to check it out, basically doing like a welfare check.
Yep.
And my guess is that this guy, he wanted to be left alone. He was building an ark. I mean, he was building an ark for whatever reason. I read that in that other article. Yeah, and I didn't know what kind of guns he had, but it sounded like in that particular article, which had come from Breitbart. I don't remember here. I'd have to look.
I'll tell you what. Here, I'll tell you what about some gun ownership deal here in their gun control in Australia. The University of Sydney, which obviously that's in Australia, right? Gunpolicy.org ranks Australian gun control as very restrictive, noting that the right to private gun ownership is not guaranteed by law. So here's some of the deal. Moreover, automatic and semi-automatic rifles are banned from civilian ownership. Well, we know it wasn't one of those then, right?
Right. Can't be, could it?
Yep. As are self-loading and pump shotguns. What? Hunting guns? That would never happen.
How crazy.
And handguns with a caliber in excess of 38. So you can own a 38 revolver. So remember, okay, I just read that to you, right? No semi-automatics. No self-loading and pump shotguns and handguns other than anything under 30. Remember when Hillary Clinton was running and she said, we need to follow the Australian model? That was confiscation of semi-autos and this stuff that I said right here, pump shotguns, self-loading shotguns, and handguns. That's exactly what Joe Biden, they want you to have double barrels and you got to check it out from the freaking police station every month when you want to use them. Yeah. That's what they got.
That's what they want. And it didn't work, did it?
Nope. And then, so to own one, here you go, Clay. See if this sounds familiar to you. As for guns that are legal to own, only licensed gun owners. That process for acquiring a gun in Australia requires applicants to pass a background check, which considers criminal, mental health, physical, addiction, domestic violence, residential, and other records. The applicant must also provide third-party references and pass a test on gun safety. The application process for a gun license also includes establishing a genuine reason for possessing a firearm. For example, gun club
membership.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that. It's so freaking ridiculous. Hunting, target shooting, firearm collection, pest control, and narrow occupational uses. And then the last thing they said, self-defense is not a justifiable reason to get a gun in Australia.
And it's not. Let's just face it. Australia don't have a Second Amendment.
So how did these guys get a gun to kill these police? In the fantasy world, this is everything the Democrats want here in America, and they still end up killing 2 police officers.
And the one article I was reading on this, and they didn't know, they were speculating. I will throw that out to this as speculation, but my assumption is on that is just as the article wrote that they had guns that they didn't turn in. Just as I'm pretty sure if something like that happened in this country, They wouldn't get
Mhm.
them all. We do have a Second Amendment. We probably are a little bit more rebellious. When the cops come knocking, we'll just shoot them.
Well,
I guarantee you.
I'd like to know what they said to Noah when they came to his house there.
That's why I said they make this guy sound out like he is a crazy guy. Keith. That's not Crocodile Dundee approved. Ah.
Hey, Mick was pretty handy with the side iron and the rifle, as I remember it.
Oh my God, Crocodile Dundee. That goes back.
Oh, he used a gun and a knife,
And a knife.
you
Oh,
know.
just I got gold on the land. But I can tell you
Oh,
right now, I'm betting that this individual probably kept his firearms because they were his.
mhm.
They don't have a Second Amendment, and I was listening to that dipshit prime minister that actually got all that through. Did you know they passed all that crap in 1996 in 12 days after that big massacre of 35 people? And this guy was claiming that it's never happened since. Well, they have had things happen
Oh,
since,
many times.
but they don't like to talk about that. Now, I'm sure you remember the pictures of all the nice guns, the Winchester lever. I mean, every gun was confiscated. Well, they just gave them up.
You can't
They
have
just
lever action guns there.
right, and they sawed these nice
Mhm.
Winchester.
That includes lever action shotguns.
Everything. I mean, they showed one. I remember the dump truck dumping all these in. They showed a shotgun, and that was just a semi-auto,
Mhm.
and they bent it so they could break it from the receiver. I was like, this is stupid, guys. It's just stupid. Luckily, we
Melt
do
them
have a
down and
Second
make
Amendment.
park benches out of them.
Yeah, and now take the bench and kill someone with it. No. But
Oh, all
they
right.
can
So
ban those.
let's go on to some. Let's go on to the happy
Well,
ending here. Should we, claim instead of?
yeah, let's have a happy ending. We don't want to go down that other road, so
Yeah.
let's have the
The
happy
point
ending
of that
today.
whole story was, which is, they got all the gun control pretty much, other than banning everything. I
Everything.
don't know if this guy maybe had a double barrel that's Joe Biden approved.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
but
A shotgun.
they don't say it. That's what makes me think that's what he had.
Yeah, and it could be. I mean, like I said, they're
Yeah.
speculating.
Yeah,
They're not releasing all that, and I imagine because it doesn't fit the narrative.
they have everything Hillary Clinton screeched for, and it didn't work.
And
They killed two cops.
one quick thing Eric has here, limiting what a gun can hold is BS. My brother can shoot a single shot almost as fast as a person can shoot a pump.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, when I was shooting a lot of trap, all I
Mhm.
ever shot was a pump. I can tell you right now, they always thought I was shooting a semi-auto, and I wasn't. I'm pretty handy with a shotgun, more
And
so than any other gun I own.
I got something down the next couple weeks here I want to talk about single
Okay.
shot rifle. I mean, there's single shot rifles that are quite awesome, and I shot a single shot 12 gauge so many years, and trust me, a single shot will kill you just as dead as anything else
Oh,
will.
any gun. I was listening to Clay Buck today, and I forget who the guest host was. They were talking about this subject, and like he said, I don't know. He said when I was growing up, he says, my dad took me out hunting and shooting, and he goes, he stressed to me that I only handled them when he was around, and if I did anything other than that, he goes, there'd have been hell to pay, so there was consequences. But he goes,
Mhm,
every gun can kill you. So he says, limiting the gun and the type of gun and how many it can hold. He goes, it takes one shot and you're dead if it's placed in the right spot. He's
mhm,
absolutely right. And
mhm.
Gene just put on here, they need more gun control in
Oh
Australia.
yeah. Oh, for
Probably.
sure. Oh
But
yeah, I guarantee
yeah.
you. They never quit
So
down there. They want them all.
every
All
one
of
of them.
them.
And that's where this leads every time, everybody. There's no such thing
Yep.
as common sense gun laws because
No.
they all lead to confiscation and registration first. But
Mhm.
hey, we can go down that rabbit hole, and then we're going to go
Yeah.
into 2 hours. So anyway, let's have our happy ending of the week.
All right.
It just never gets old.
Yeah. For those of you listening on the podcast, Clay's got a great video there. It makes me laugh
Mm.
every day. It's awesome. You can go watch the replay on YouTube or on our Facebook page. You'll see what we're talking about. So, all right, this week's happy ending story of the week is coming to us from Warner Robins, Georgia. A restaurant employee managed to pull his own gun, then shoot an alleged armed robber. Okay, Fox News reported the shooting on December 11th, noting that the incident occurred in an American Philly and Wings restaurant, and the employee was pistol whipped before pulling his gun. The employee fought with the alleged scumbag, attempting to take away his gun, then ultimately pulled his gun and fired 3 shots, hitting the piece of trash twice. 13 WMAZ noted the alleged, there's the alleged again, I'm just going to skip that. 13 WMAZ noted the armed scumbag fled the scene but was soon captured by police. He was taken to a hospital where what happened to him, Clay? You think he lived or died?
Why don't you surprise us? Is it a real happy ending? I need a drum roll.
Fairy tale ending. He died at the hospital.
He assumed room temperature.
Yes, the deceased suspect was identified as 23-year-old Josh Hickey. Police Sergeant Justin Clark said the restaurant worker was struck, hit the ground. As he was coming back up, he drew his own legally owned firearm and fired 3 shots at Mr. Hickey. Mr. Hickey was struck twice and fled on foot. The restaurant employee was not harmed or charged. That, my friend, is why it's a happy ending.
That's right, and that's how it should be. Evidently, they had stand your ground.
Awesome. That is awesome. So
I'm just going to put this up here. Yep. We go live on every Friday, guys, on K-Fire, 5:50 a.m. Fridays, on Mitchell in the morning. Todd will not be there this Friday, from what I understand, at 8:40 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we just do it's a 15-20 minute segment depending on who's subbing.
15 is 8 minutes. We were on with Jesse.
Yeah, it was, but we do cover a lot of stuff. We've gotten it down pretty good.
Yeah,
now, so.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell. I'm waiting until that T-shirt gets up to you. Again, I'll get that. Yeah. I want you to get that tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll show up. But
awesome.
I tell you what, that the mail's finally starting to roll. We do live out here in the sticks, but it has its advantages and its disadvantages. But I want you to get that so he can get it.
Yeah.
It turned out great, guys. And we'll just give you a teaser. It's the original assault weapon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Lynette said they're a little under the weather out there. Her and Dougie.
Oh, okay.
From Colorado, but they're still here. So I'm sorry to hear that, you guys. But
you better nurse them back to health, there, Lynette.
So Clay, I also got I got some drafts there for the caps. So if anybody's thinking about getting some caps, I had to do some. I didn't want them to alter a few things on it, and if you're really looking for a cap, we should be getting some here shortly. I'll when we get the final thing done, I'll put it up here and give.
And I picture think, up. We're gonna go with a kind of a cap where you can put a patch on, right? For right now.
Yep. I did.
And it has to do with.
I actually think the patch one looks better. I looked at it, but it was too wide, and I said you need to bring that in.
Yep.
You can see the flag a lot better on that one,
and we got a few T-shirts that we've mocked up and actually done them. They're looking good. We want to get that down. So we're kind of ready to start doing some of this stuff as you guys have been requesting. But our big thing is to get our payment thing set up on the website. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's tough, but we just got to sit down and do it. Maybe we can get that done in the next week because we got some pretty cool ones. We got some like crossed ARs that say Guns in the 701. And for the ladies and the girls, we've got some hunting gnomes and some other cool stuff. I know that Eric's daughter, she already got hers on and it looked great. We even did a pink T-shirt for her.
Yep.
So
my youngest wears hers. She's proud of that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We're learning new things. This is one of the first ones we did for a sweatshirt. We've learned about polyester and cotton blends and what you need to do. And I can tell you right now, this is about what it's going to be now. It's on a cotton and it faded out a little. That's why we didn't want to sell things. And we've learned how to make that last longer now so that you're getting a quality product. So we're getting there. It was a trial and error, and we even made a blanket, but we got to get better blankets. I like that one. That turned out.
Yeah, it looked awesome. You guys did some nice work there. It looked awesome, I thought.
Things, if you're interested, then remember, if you get something cool, it's going to be definitely Second Amendment orientated.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to have other things on it. Of course, it's right? What's it? Yep. And it'll help fund what we're doing here, guys. That's the big thing. We've had some requests, and if you request and buy, we will definitely start doing it.
Yeah.
I got asked about the leather koozies. We may do another run eventually. We'll see. I think we still got a couple left over if people are still interested. But because
I
you can't
mean,
just make a couple of them, you got to get
you
a
can
run
go
of them.
check. I got a video of the other ones that I got here. If those look good to you, like I said, I
And
shouldn't
right
have
there's
probably
one
made
of
had the
them.
yep. There
Yeah,
he Clay's on the spot. Look at this
and
guy.
there's the red
Yeah,
ones.
those are the tall boys. Yep.
I don't
Yep.
have the little ones on here. I should have
Yeah, you
loaded
got
it
the
up.
regular ones. We got burnt orange, red,
Yep.
gray, and then like a coyote tan. You know, the tactical peanut butter kind of color there
There you go.
with the black lettering. They look. I think the black lettering worked out better, but you know.
Yeah, it probably. Here it's a trial and error, and that's why we haven't been
Mhm.
selling anything yet. We want to
Mhm.
make sure we're giving you guys good stuff.
Well, I'm sure the
And
guy's gonna get back to me next week on the caps, and then if we do, I'll send it to you, Clay, and then you can put the
yep,
pictures up here. Like I said, everybody always here's the deal. Here's the deal about ordering stuff when you're not big, guys and gals. Everybody's like jacked up and they want something, but then if you get it and then nobody buys it, then you're stuck with it and you paid
and you're
for it.
sitting
So,
on it. Here's
all
some
right,
shirts we did that turned out really
those
good.
are
These were
awesome.
on
Those are
polyester.
awesome. Looks great.
We've tried them now. All three of these shirts have been washed several times, and they're just about as bright as they were. So that the polyester, of course, works really
Yeah, because
good. That was
you and
our
Danelle got some spray stuff. You said that holds it,
yeah.
right?
It's a whole different process.
Okay.
And Danelle's the one doing it. So we're we got the sweatshop set up down here in the basement. So, but no, I'm very happy with what we've come up with. And how this will work is if we get it designed right on the website, you'll be able to place an order. It'll come in to me, and then we can do the size you want.
Mhm.
Now, there's going to be a 7 to 14 day turnaround because we don't have the product. We're not going to have the product on hand. It's just, guys, when you're just doing it like this, you can't
Mhm.
have one of every size 50 t-shirts. I mean, you just can't do it.
Right.
So we will order it. It will get it in here. Usually it's a 2-3 day turnaround, and you can order everything. And
Mhm.
then it's a matter of making them, and then go out. Gee, guns and us. You know, maybe. I'd probably get in
That's a
trouble
good
then
idea.
with health department for not getting it inspected, or who knows. I have a
Hey,
rub that I do for my own stuff that I've made for ribs and pork loins and things, and it turns out pretty good. It's something I came up with, and people
well,
might
if
like
we're
it. I
around
don't
next
know.
fall, I might have a
Yeah.
701 pumpkin spice too, coffee thing there.
Oh my God. Yes, you will. So, well, before we go too long here, we better do some plugs here.
Yes,
Again,
sir.
thanks to our sponsors, Laurel Auto Repair and the Blind Guy. Great sponsors. We're happy to have their support. Make sure if you're doing any of that kind of work, go to them first, please. And they do great work. We're not just we wouldn't take them on if we didn't believe in what they're doing. I myself am going to be taking some stuff up to Doug because I've already talked to him about some of it. I just need to call him and get the appointments made
Mhm.
here.
And
Um,
I've known Doug, for over 10 years here, and his wife I've known pretty much my whole life since I was a kid, and Wyatt and Tammy, who own the Blind Guy, I've known them
yep.
since probably 1990. And I mean, they're some of my best friends. I was in their wedding, they were in mine, and I mean, I'm not going to put people out there who aren't good and don't do good work. These
No.
people do awesome work, and they're great people. They're salt of the earth folks, and if you
And
go in there,
I
yeah,
know absolutely that they believe
yeah,
in our values because they were part of the NRA sponsorship program through Jamie. I mean, it's not even a question of where they stand on things.
yep. And if you go in there and you support these guys, hey, let them know once again, let them know you appreciate them supporting a show like this, because I mean, Clay and I can do it without it, but
It's
hey,
easier with
trust
help.
me, when you got sponsors, it helps big time,
Yep.
because nothing's free. I
No,
can promise you
nothing.
that. So,
Nothing's free, and that's the way that goes. So, but again, make sure you go in there and talk to these guys. And
yeah.
like I said, if you miss their stuff and miss their numbers, get a hold of me or Jamie, and we'll definitely get you the information.
Not
Now,
only that, hey, You got to
Yeah.
share that Guns in the 701 on your social, or let your friends know, because the more we got, the bigger we can grow here. That's right, Clayton, So
And
again,
YouTube's been doing well. We're well on our way. We even got we'll see if this comes to fruition, but Jamie got a notification from Fascist Book that evidently we might actually get paid a little bit on one of our reels. So we'll see
that's
how
what
that
they
goes.
said. They're giving me they'll be
We're
back to
not
us
going to count on it just yet.
What sounded shady was they're like, yeah, we'll be back in a week or two. We're short staffed, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll believe that when I see it. But the real thing, we put a couple out, and a couple of them hit pretty good. Real good, actually. One of them really did, just kind of like we had the big one or two there on YouTube, and it helped out. And if anybody's new listening because of it, I appreciate you listening, and I'd appreciate you sharing our videos and sharing the link to this podcast and a live stream. Actually, we're going to have the podcast. Our podcasts are on basically every platform, right, Clayton?
Yeah,
when we're done,
they're on iHeart, and they're on.
Recommend iHeart because that's where we go on Fridays. Is iHeart.
Absolutely. So. And I can tell you right now, they pretty much are everywhere now. Even small places that I didn't realize that some of these other smaller ones, they just take them from the big ones and post them there, which is fine with me. That's great. The more people can get it, the better.
Yep.
So make sure you go check out the website, gunsinthe701.com. We have everything there: the podcast, hunting pictures, and I've been a little lax here over the last. Well, I've been a little busy, with blizzards and crap.
Yeah, yeah, everybody has. So,
but I haven't updated or uploaded a lot of pictures on there, but I have kept the shows updated on there, so you can catch them there. Of course, we got our Twitter account. Not a lot of traffic there, but it's new. We're on Rumble. I mean, we're pretty much everywhere. I think if you did a search online, you'd probably find us just about everywhere.
Is. Yep.
But we appreciate all the support, everybody. Absolutely. We like doing it. We'll keep doing it as long as people keep listening, I guess.
Absolutely. And then again, don't forget this Friday, 8:40, KFOR, 5:50 a.m. Clay and I are going to be on at 8:40 talking libs getting tweaked by the NRA putting out a Christmas tweet. And and if we get through that, which, I mean, that's going to be a good topic. We can talk about this Connecticut governor. He doesn't like ARs. We'll get into that about that. And
that'll probably be all we get to.
Yeah, we'll have a full slate, and I'm going to do some shooting videos this weekend with my buddy Diggity up at the farm and try and get some videos, some deer again and whatever. We might get some coyotes on there. We got some cool stuff coming up with the tracers and some little tanny bombs. So get on the website, get on Facebook, YouTube. We're going to make some reels. It's going to be the reels ones, the short ones. So
thanks, Kevin. You have a good night too.
Yep. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks everybody else. Clayton?
Yeah, I guess we'll do a wrap, and go ahead. You give it. You give it.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you once again for clicking in tonight and supporting us, and we'll see you next week. And until then, you keep that powder dry in case you need it, because you might.